Is being a fat a choice? I guess we're gonna find out.
obese,
Okay.
but it's like medically,
So,
you know.
so like for
So
example,
you're medically obese though?
no,
Yes.
I've been medically obese since I was like 12, and I was not obese.
Doubtful. I mean, it's a visible thing. I mean, maybe I don't know her exact numbers. She says, I'm fit. She's all right. Look, if you're overweight and you're happy and you're confident you will live a good life and you love it, then go for it. I mean, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody.
Middle Ground. I'm John.
You don't have to.
I host the Radical Empathy podcast.
You just have to
and I'll be
accept all the
moderating
negative
today's discussion
things about
between
that.
Fit women and fat women. And a friendly reminder.
Let's
if
see
you
how
are writing
fit the
a
fit
hate
women
comment,
really
you
are, let's
part
be
of the
honest.
problem.
You can put on some leggings and a sports bra and automatically you're fit, like just because you're not fat. Okay, so being not fat is not the same as being fit. Like, I want to know what numbers they're running. I want to know what they can sprint. I want to know what they can lift. I want to know that because, like, again, not being fat isn't the same as being fit. And if you're just not fat and you're wearing a sports bra and some leggings, and that's not how that works. So let's hope they're actually good.
Your physique is in your control. Will the agreeers please step forward?
It is. There's no doubt about that.
She has a question.
Did she raise her hand?
When you mean physique, can you specify like what exactly are you trying to?
I think physique is like the shape and size of your body. Why were you hesitating?
Because, you know, there's a lot of different illnesses around. So I have family members that have like thyroids and they can't gain weight or they can't lose weight. But I think that they can manage to stay at a place that's going to be healthy for them. To me, personally, I do feel like I can be at a better place. I'm working on it, and that's my goal. So.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
That's good. That's
I think
positive.
that definitely people have ailments. There's different diseases and all that. But I think at the end of the day, what you can do, the best physical peak for your personal body is in your hands. You may
That's a really good point. Like, not everybody can get to certain levels, but you can get to the best version of yourself. And I think that's kind of like a given. But also, it's a, thyroid or not, if you don't eat anything, you're going to get skinny. If you eat too much stuff, you're going to get fat. It doesn't matter if you have, like, there's no, like, people who survived in Poland in 1942 because they had a certain thyroid condition that made them not lose any weight. That's just not how it works, man. It's not math. It's not science.
may not look like someone you want to look like, your ideal situation, but you can optimize your body to be the highest performance that you think that you can.
True.
When I first started working out, I lost 60 pounds, and that included just counting calories. I didn't have to work out as hard. I did the treadmill. I went at an incline, and I just walked the whole time, watching a movie and just walked. I just made healthier choices,
Easy.
and I've been mindful about what I put inside my body.
Like, you put in that effort, right? You made those conscious decisions to walk on the treadmill.
She's pretty
count
fit,
your
you know.
calories, you were
I'm
super
sure she
adapted
does
to
some
everything,
things that
and
are
that's
good.
how
She's
both of you
pretty
guys were
fit
able to lose so
too.
much weight, right? So your physique is 100%.
I don't know.
in
She
control.
there's a reason
It's
why she
just that
covered up her
nobody wants to
arms.
put
I
the
think she's
effort
got a
in.
little bit of
Just so we can
going
correct
on.
the disagreeers,
I
that's
think
a
she's
great
one of those
person to be in our disagreement.
she's one of those girls who is like not fat, so she thinks she's fit. But I mean, you can see the rolls and stuff. She's not like fit as I would imagine it. The girl next to her is actually fit. You can see leg and muscle definition in her thighs there. You can see that she's not carrying too much fat, although it's not super easy to tell because girls tend to pull up their little waistline above their hips so they can hide that. And honestly, if it didn't look stupid, I'd probably do it too, so I can't fault them for that.
Whoever wants to pick up where we just left off.
So while of course there are aspects that I think you can control about your physique, I think there are more things that are out of your control. Like, it is so much more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap. If I go to the grocery store and I
It's
just
really
wanna buy
not,
a bunch of
though.
frozen meals, that's gonna be so much cheaper than me going and buying fresh produce and fresh fruit and everything.
I disagree.
Absolutely disagree too.
I disagree too.
Why do you just?
And let me tell you why I disagree before they start talking and they probably repeat exactly what I'm saying. You can go get discounted things from the store. Have you ever heard of Aldi's? They have these discounted stores that in Trader Joe's and stuff where they buy like one type of a bulk item and then they get a better rate on each one. They pass the savings on to you. Sure, you don't get to choose between 18 different peanut butters, but like you can have peanut butter for cheap. So that's your goal. Like, there's places that sell chicken by the pound for $5 a pound. But if you go to Aldi's or someplace like that, you're getting it for $2.80 a pound. And maybe it's not prepped for you. Maybe you have to cut a little bit of the fat off. Maybe you have to slice it yourself. But dog, like honestly, how much per hour do you make? Like, how long does it take you to do that? Like, you save the money that way. I don't want to hear that. You can get grilled chicken. You can buy a 25-pound bag of rice that will last you 3 to 4 months if you're eating it every single meal for like $32, and that's premium. That's the good rice. You can get cheaper rice too. So I don't want to hear that it's too expensive. I got an entire fridge full of meal preps. Do they taste good? Maybe not. Maybe, but are they healthy? They're absolutely healthy. Like, just don't say shit like that if it's not true. It's just not true.
The prepackaged foods, the frozen ones, way more expensive. I've been
Thanks, Shuttered
on a
Complications.
budget
I got a lot of haters.
internally. I
This is a
always
masterclass on
save
how not to
money
stream.
by just going to
Yeah,
grocery
maybe
store
you're
and
right. I don't know.
Buying ingredients.
I agree with you on that, but I can go get a frozen meal sometimes for $1.50, $2. Where if I want to
Where?
cook a whole meal,
Where?
like depending on what all the ingredients I'm getting, that
I
could be
need her to
$10.
cite the sources on that. Where can I get a frozen meal for $1.50? Let's see. Let's see if ChatGPT can inform us of where. Thank you, Vicious Bee friend. You're kind of like hot and cold with me, buddy. So sometimes you hate me, sometimes you like me. Dollar Tree. Okay, so you can go to Dollar Tree to buy it. Seasoned blend, pre-chopped onion, celery. So it's $1.25 for that. Grocery clearance signature. You can go get it at the clearance. These are all cherries, blackberries. These are healthy foods. Walmart and Aldi. See, less than $5 a person, so that's not $1.50. Sam's Club. If you buy in bulk, you can do that. Local Mars. So what she said just was categorically false, and she's lying to herself. Like, you can make shit up all day.
More.
Yes, but still, you have to think from people who have like no money and they're thinking like, oh, I can get
$32 bag of rice. Can't
I've
afford
had
that.
$12 for a week's amount of food.
I hear both. I think that you definitely
That sounds like a lie.
Mindset, it is
$12
cheaper.
couldn't get the chicken
You
I
go to
needed
a
for a
fast food
week.
restaurant, they have like a dollar menu. I think they've
Yeah.
even increased the dollar menu now. So, which is
$2
crazy.
menu.
It's like a $2
Yeah.
menu. So
Full of
that's
shit.
valid.
She's
I
just
think
saying
that-
shit
I
she
think
made up
it's
in her head.
killing us in the long term. Like, it's like that short dopamine effect, the dopamine where you're like, oh, I just need something right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
I also did want to, sorry, just touch on other than like food costs, like there's also privilege when it comes to like having time.
Oh, here we
to
go.
Cook stuff.
Definitely
Like if you
Privilege,
work a
time to cook
full-time
stuff?
Job, if you have
It
kids
takes
and-
me 25 minutes to cook 5 pounds of chicken. And I would say maybe about like 5 of that is actually prepping the chicken and seasoning it. And then you just wait for it to bake in the oven and you throw it into some containers. Total time spent actually doing stuff, 15 to 20 minutes. Total time spent actually doing the entire process, maybe 45 minutes if you're not rushing it. Like, it's not that much time. This clownery. You don't have to cook for yourself every single night. Excuse.
stuff. A lot of the time, it's just easier. You don't have the time and energy. Like, I enjoy cooking, but it's a lot of work sometimes.
It really
And
isn't.
It's much easier for me to just like go through the drive-through, and then also privilege.
It's
when
a
it
lot
comes to, like,
easier to
your
be
mental
fat.
health.
That's true.
When you are
It's always been
stressed,
true.
when you're struggling to even like get through the day, it can be really hard to have that motivation to eat well, to move your body and stuff. So for then when people are like, oh, well, why aren't you working out? It's like, dude, I can barely even get out of bed. So like, please stop.
And maybe you should handle your mental health issues first. It's important for you to have good mental health. But honestly, every single thing that this lady has been saying so far has been just shit she made up in her head or cop-outs. She's coping. She's copium out the ass right now.
I just wanted to say that I didn't step forward because I have PCOS and I
Fred AD, thank you for the follow. You're awesome, man. We're out here watching YouTube videos, and we'll change the world someday. But until then, we're going to watch YouTube videos, yes.
just recently got diagnosed with it. So with PCOS, it's so much more difficult for me to lose the weight and control what I want my physique to look like. It's just so much harder. It's not impossible, but it is.
We can fix it. We
It's
can,
something
and we
that
can
can
fix
be
it.
fixed.
PCOS, we can fix
Sorry
it.
to cut y'all off, but Bria, I just wanted to hear from you.
The question,
I bet he does.
your body is in your control. I just think it is not 100% in your control. To say it's like black and white, you can change it or you can't, is just crazy. It's just so nuanced. I really like appreciated you bringing up the food access that you have, the knowledge access, your socioeconomic status. I go to the gym, I sit there, and I'm like, if only everyone had access and the free time to do this. I'm sure so
Planet Fitness is like 10 or 15 bucks a month. And also you can have like maybe 25, 45 minutes. I mean, it's hard to go, but you can schedule it. There's ways to min-max your life. Let's not play. Opium.
so many other people would love to do that. But people are struggling. They need to pay their rent. They can't just allot that time. They need to prioritize. And I think
You can sleep for like an hour and a half less every morning. You can go a little bit later in the day. You can go and walk while you do other things. You can multitask.
that's ultimately
Oh,
what is
Controlled
really
Satchel.
sad.
Somebody tell him
I
he's on the
also
wrong
take care of
platform. I'm
myself.
also on
I'm sorry, I
YouTube.
disagree. Like, there's some of us who are on the fit side that don't have that privileges. I wake up at 4 a.m., have a full-time job.
Snaps to you.
I get it done. At the end of the day,
Exactly. You
it
can
doesn't
if you
matter.
want to.
I
If you don't
be
want
the
to,
highest
that's
version of
fine too.
myself, the most
Don't say
evolved
it's not.
version,
Don't say
and
you
she
can't,
has to show
because you
up.
But
can.
your life allows it.
Yeah.
No,
Your
I make
lifestyle-
my life
No,
allow
exactly.
it.
Exactly. You have to create the scenarios in your life. Like if you are the creator of your own universe about 80% of the time. The other 20% is just shit that happens to you. She's about to go off and say, I have X, I have Y, and I have Z. And I can tell you that at least X and Y were completely within her control to not allow that to happen.
Have the possibilities that you
They
have.
do. They just
Not everyone, no.
And I also think there's
You
something
need
to be
from
said.
different
the effort.
You need to give me examples so I can tell you you're full of shit.
Like, let's say, for example, you're a teenager and you're like 500 pounds.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
work that you need to do to remedy that is ungodly. Like, that's really challenging. That's a
I
hard
agree.
thing to do for
I agree.
anybody.
Honestly, the more you weigh, the more weight you're carrying around, the higher your heart rate is, the more calories you burn just existing. So if she just, maybe had some motion, some movement, if she just really tried to find a thing that worked for her, if she just like changed her eating habits, she could get to a point where she could move around more. She's basically saying like there hasn't been teenagers that are 500 pounds that have lost weight, which is completely false. Completely false.
As opposed to like me, I was really skinny and then I decided, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I put on my weight. The results are showing, it looks like I'm working super hard, I make these choices like, go girl.
Right.
But that is not the same accessibility that someone can make that change for themselves in different circumstances.
I agree.
So I
My
think
only
that is, like,
caveat is it's hard for both, but it can be done, is my point.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
wouldn't say
my
that it's
only
as hard
point.
for me as
Point.
someone who's overweight trying to lose
It's not
that
about how
weight.
hard
In
it
my
is, it's
opinion,
about how much you're willing to work
I
for
believe
it.
it can be done. I believe
Okay,
it can
so
be
we
done, but I
agree.
think empathy and compassion for the different circumstances that may stop someone.
She believes that that can be done. The argument is your physique is not in your control, and she says that it doesn't matter how hard it is. I believe it can be done. Did she not understand the question? Am I tripping here? You like chat. Tell me what's going on.
From doing that is necessary to see like, oh, get off your ass and like do all this,
No one said
which you're
that.
not saying, but I'm saying some people, commenters,
Myron's
might be
not
saying
in this
that.
episode.
Myra was the
That's
worst.
stupid.
There is a spectrum
She's
for
stupid?
your body.
Which one?
Our height isn't under our control. Our fat distribution, our bone density,
is now.
our muscle density, our metabolism.
Yes,
These are all things that make up who we are. But in that spectrum of health, absolutely, we can change who we are
Yes.
with the.
I see what
with
she's
we
getting
got,
at, but
right?
And then we'll stop right there.
you stop trying to hypnotize me.
Body positivity can promote unhealthy habits. Will the agreeers please step forward?
There's not much to disagree with.
I think
I'm glad that
blind body
everybody, except for the
positivity-
most delusional one in the back there, look at her. She's standing there alone because she's literally the most delusional one out of all of them. She's the one that was talking about that other bullshit earlier, copium, making shit up in her head and saying it.
I
Stupid.
think blind body positivity can be harmful if it's just like always like don't ever consider any possibility that you could change something or improve your quality of life. Just blindly accept yourself. I think that's where it can get kind of toxic.
I don't look like how I looked when I was 20. So body positivity
Body
is
stupidity,
encouraging
I guess.
yourself to accept you're gonna transform eventually. When you're 40, when you're 50, you're gonna get wrinkles, all these things. So yeah, definitely body positivity should have taken another route instead of just saying it's for bigger people, because it's not. It's for all the variety of people that need to accept you're changing.
Yeah, I think the pendulum has
True.
switched to the furthest extreme. I think body positivity was created because there wasn't a space for people who could have acceptance in bigger bodies. And I think
I
it's just
disagree.
gone to the furthest
I
extreme
disagree.
now.
I've never looked at somebody who was obese or overweight and thought, "Man, you're a piece of shit." I never thought that. No, 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 no. I don't judge people like that. I think that if that's the lifestyle that they want to live, that's within their right to do so, and I don't have a judgment on it. I think that if they want to be that size, or if they feel like they can't be a different size and they don't want to be that size, but they choose not to act, that's a decision that they made. They chose to be that size because they chose to not act. Just like if people eat a whole bunch of food, they're actively choosing that. Well, you can also passively choose things. And I think that's where people start to misinterpret things, their life, and try to, hey, Fanflick, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. And that's where they start to get to lose the plot there, is that people don't understand that they can make decisions and actions passively. They just, I guess not actions passively, but you know what I mean, right?
And
Like, women come in all shapes and sizes, right? And every woman is beautiful. And I think that you should really be confident in your body and the way that you look, you know, wake up feeling your best. But I feel like, especially on social media and in society today, this body positivity movement, I've seen like multiple times where there's like obese women promoting body positivity. And it's like, I wouldn't want like my
What's
kid.
obese for you?
Like
Obese is whenever you are actively so large that it's interrupting your day-to-day life, and I believe that that is the obesity that socially we talk about. Medically, it's actually very different, I feel like, but if you feel like someone's obese, I know it's in a medical term, but I feel like just like a lot of words, they become more of like a social thing. Oh, Shuttered Compunction. First time here, and I'm already a fan. Thank you so much. You should follow me then. So I think that that's the problem. Man, you distracted me, bud.
like an unhealthy lifestyle.
No.
Like
Problem.
What
What
do
do
you
you mean
mean what's obese for you?
obese? Like a
Like for
medically
me,
obese.
if you see me,
You have to understand that obese, it means that you are incapable of functioning, or that you are incapable of fitting in things, or you are incapable of actively moving around. Like you live a lifestyle where food is not a medicine for you, but it's a coping mechanism, or it's something that you don't really pay attention to. There's this lifestyle habits that lead to these things. That's what I think whenever I think of obesity. And honestly, I've been really overweight before in my life, and I enjoyed it. I like to eat a bunch of food. I like to eat unhealthy food. I like to not have to work out. I like to sit around and play video games. It feels really good. But and that's the life that I wanted, and that's the life that I lived. And the consequences was that I started gaining weight. But whenever I decided that the shit was gonna hit the fan and I was gonna make a change around here and everything, then that's exactly what I did. And I lost the weight, and it didn't take long, and it wasn't that hard.
you
What's her
consider
range?
me obese?
I wouldn't say that you're obese, but
Okay.
it's like medically,
So,
you know.
so like for
So
example,
you're medically obese, though?
no,
Yes.
I've been medically obese since I was like 12, and I was not obese.
Well,
yes.
does anybody here,
So I-
would anybody here explain what they mean by medically obese? Just-
Exactly.
okay.
Like
BMI.
Like when you go to the doctor's
Yeah.
office and you get weight on a scale, and they'll tell you, oh, you're a little bit overweight, or they'll say you're morbidly obese, you're
Because of your
whatever
height,
these things. So
everything.
like if you look at me, you would be like, oh, she's a little plus size, but I am technically considered obese
So
by my doctors.
And I was obese at, I think it's 30 BMI. Now the BMI, have come to learn that it's a little bit tricky now.
Right. It's not the most.
Okay, so in my understanding, BMI was something that was used to quickly determine a large pool of people's, like basically body mass for studies. And so whenever you're trying to collect information and data from extraordinarily large pools of people, it becomes very hard to get accurate data. So you need to simplify it as much as possible without losing the script on it, without losing the plot. So BMI was introduced in order to try to survey large groups of people, and it was used in the medical industry. The problem is that the metrics that they go against are like your height versus your weight versus your age, and that's kind of what tells you what your BMI is. I'm not sure if the age is one, but that was so they could accurately pull. But if you think about it, and you might have heard about this before, a bodybuilder has a lot of muscle mass, which weighs a lot, and he may be super lean, but his body weight to his height and his age is going to be really high, so now he's obese. And that's where the inaccuracies come from, is more of like on the extreme end. But that's not what it was for, because we were working with large groups of people. The average is kind of what you're trying to go for. So all of the extreme examples of when it doesn't work kind of fall off onto the wayside, and then you have a little bit more accurate description. With smaller groups of people, you can get more precise. That's just what it is.
Right.
But that's what it's based off.
Yeah.
But
Right.
so correct. But now that when I was a size 14, I was considered obese. It's smaller than we think.
I think an obese person, and this is not, calling absolutely anybody obese, but I think a person that can be considered obese will not be able to go on walks. They will lose their breath. For me.
No, that's morbidly obese. Morbidly obese means basically they are so out of shape that they're going to die if they don't do anything about it, hence morbid. And that there's a certain point that you get to where you can't do physical activity that is required to lose the weight. You can't get out of your bed. You can't barely shower yourself. And all you can do is kind of diet down or get some kind of assistance to try to lose that weight so you can get to a point where you can stand on your own feet and walk. So that's like the very first step. So if you can't even walk under your own weight, then you are basically stuck in a position that's very, very sad, because you can't lose the weight because you can't fucking walk. You can't do any cardio at all. You can't do any exercising at all.
Because I am a person that I'm
Like falling into
but
quicksand.
like I said, I'm still able to go on hikes and I won't lose my breath. I can go on runs. I can exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So if for the
you're-
doctors, I'm obese because of the
Yes.
size
To
and the
destroy
stuff
the
that I
knees,
am. For
dog.
the doctors,
Yes.
Gotta be careful.
for me, it is not the way that it works, because an obese person, I've had friends who are skinnier than me. We go on walks and they're losing their breath.
So for you, obesity is just the
fact-
health parameter.
It's just
of
general
how
cardiovascular health, which
Exactly.
can be
Not
very, very
physical
good
Exactly.
at higher
When the
weights,
doctor- when the
and
doctor
it can be
says
very, very bad at lower
that
weights.
word, it's
Yeah.
he's looking on a chart versus saying you
But how many
can't-
people have
but he's
been
saying-
bad
But listen,
diagnosed?
he's not saying
Vicious, you're such a dick, and I love
ill,
it.
you
Keep
can't
up the
walk
good
that
work.
hill.
I've had
you
doctors
go,
say that to
you
me.
go, I
That's
have
the
that.
thing. I've
that's,
had doctors
I'm
say that
obese
to
and I
me.
can still walk
So-
up that hill. And that's what's fabulous about it, right? It doesn't automatically mean you're ill, but also down the road, absolutely it's going to mean you're ill. You're lucky with your genetics currently. Down the road, it's not going to be the same
But
story.
this is the thing, you think they're genetics, but since I was really young, I'm active. I'm an active woman.
I never said you're not
No,
active.
no,
But
no,
you're
I know,
consuming
I'm
too many
just responding to
calories
what
and you're
you're
not
saying.
active
I'm
enough.
not saying that I'm not active. I'm responding to what you're saying about the doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I have had doctors tell me that.
Tell you what?
That I'm obese and that I
Yes.
cannot exercise. That why am I not exercising? Why am I not doing? the
Paper
effort?
Jermaine, thank you for the follow,
There's
bud.
doctors that have bad diagnosed me for things that I've never had. And I've gotten medicated for things that I've never had. So it's like,
Right. Well,
it's
that's-
everybody, it's different.
They're killing us too. So.
Just we went down a tangent
Yeah.
from it. I want to.
Oh my God, you've been
we're
so
talking
good.
about we're talking about
Body
body
positivity.
whether
Yes.
we think it promotes unhealthy habits. We're going to bring in our disagreeer.
Oh my God.
And then continue the conversation.
Oh, great. Here we go.
So I didn't step
Here we
forward
go, you
because,
fucking guys.
I really hate the toxicity that has come from people being like, oh, body positivity promotes obesity and blah, blah, blah. I hate that so much. I think there is like the minutest people who are doing that. The vast, vast majority, I do not think promote obesity. Body positivity, to me, is just loving your body, accepting your body how it is, and not hating yourself. Like, you shouldn't have
I think that's fair. And that's kind of the point that I was trying to make. And that's where I think body positivity really is. And I think that they've dipped into toxicity and trying to use it as a scapegoat and cope and all this stuff and try to make it normalized and try to increase their standing in society because of it. And I don't particularly agree with it, but, you know, it is what it is.
to wake up every day because you're forced.
I think that body positivity is important, and I think that if you want to be overweight and if you want to be obese, then that's totally cool. Like that's cool, man. Do it. I've been there. I decided against it at some point, and I changed it. But do it if you want to.
400 pounds and hate yourself.
Don't hate
Like,
yourself.
you know, I don't think anybody should be
Food tastes
hating
good.
themselves. So that to me
Chilling
is
is
what body
fun.
positivity is about, and it's also about equality in how people are treated.
Accept the
Like for
trade-off.
example, Lizzo gets called out so much on like, oh my God, she's out there with her.
Lizzo lost a bunch of weight because she didn't like that. And that's cool too. She was cool whenever she had a bunch of weight. She was cool when she lost the weight. That's just how it is.
It's so
She's
disgusting. But Chapel Roan, who, God, I love Chapel Roan, was at Gumball and came out as Statue of Liberty and had her ass out. Did not see a single person online saying, oh, so why she have her ass out? You know, it's like, it's a double standard. People
It is a double standard. Absolutely. That's where the trade-off comes into play. As I was saying before, you can be overweight and you can enjoy all of these things and get your dopamine from all this stuff, but you have to accept the consequences and the trade-offs for it. It's okay to do it. As long as you're willing to accept the trade-off, you can't have your cake and eat it too, dog.
People hating on Chapel Rowan for the way that she looks and her outfits, and there's going to be hate on both sides.
Oh, of course, there's going to be hate, but I meant like the volume.
There's a lot of hate in my chat, I'll tell you that much.
Compared to Chapel Rowan, like I would say, like it's much smaller. Like I just you constantly hear about like Lizzo, and you know.
I have a question. I have a question about Lizzo. Okay,
Always
one
comes
of the
back to Lizzo.
One of the few.
She's like waiting.
I know.
Like the poster child for fat positivity.
One of the few times I saw her streaming, she had this gorgeous cake was gifted to her, enormous. Went in with it with a fork and was eating constantly and talking to the camera while she was streaming.
Sounds delicious, dude. Sounds like me. I would definitely do that.
Oh my God, how many people are watching this? This is absolutely.
It's okay to eat cake while you're being interviewed, dog.
I hated every moment of it. What do you say about that?
Well, my question would be, if there was a thin person doing that, would you have had that same reaction?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Why?
I
Eat
think
cake,
it's
dude.
more
Cake
about-
tastes fucking
like,
good.
She's not promoting obesity by eating.
I think
cake
she's a
on
little
camera.
fatphobic. I don't like
She's
using that term because I think it's stupid, but like that's kind of like a great
body
example of what
positivity,
fatphobia
and
is.
she's behaving this way. Is that promoting
Have
a
you
negative
noticed
light?
that she just posted a video that she lost weight? Like
No,
that
no,
was
A
absolutely
lot of
don't.
weight.
I
She just
absolutely
posted
Lost a
don't.
lot of weight,
I
you
don't.
guys.
You can see the difference.
Because I don't want her in my algorithm.
So it was just probably that one day that you saw her doing that, but that doesn't identify.
This
her
lady
as-
really hates fat
Yeah,
people.
in defense of Lizzo,
It's kind of fucked up. Like, let them be fat if they want to.
in defense of her, I have seen her post like, oh, here's a green smoothie that I got, or here's me with my salad, or like, here I am at the gym. I think there is this weird stigma where people that are overweight have to be perfect all the time. They can never just like, you know, just have a cake. And I agree, it's challenging. I agree, it's not great.
I love me some cake, dog.
I'm not saying
I would eat
that's
some
great.
cake right now.
Not
If I had
great.
some.
But I'm saying
Right in front of
that,
y'all.
like, this
I'd just
one
be sitting here
instance of
fucking
her
eating
doing
cake
this
right in front of this fucking
amidst
stream right
all her
here.
other ones of her trying to be healthy.
Can I go on the opposite side of that? Like with Lizzo, there's like Eugenia Clooney. She's a very
Yes,
petite, tiny
Eugenia.
woman. Why are people saying, "Oh, good job, Lizzo"? Like, good job for eating healthier. But like when Eugenia Clooney's like trying to eat something, like
But is Eugenia Cooney allowed to have hashtag body positivity?
she does sometimes. So
Is she?
she promotes herself literally wearing like tiny
Because we're-
outfits, showing her body.
That was my whole point. Is like these
Do it if you want
extremes
to.
are hijacking it.
Yeah,
I agree.
They're not
like,
good representation.
Yeah,
No.
that like the algorithm, they will push out the most extreme cases because they get the most views, and it's
Right.
what people want to see.
Yes, it's dangerous.
Including these conversations. Although this was pretty reasonable. All right, let's reset.
No matter who you are, there's no denying that injuries can really put a damper on your everyday life. Like seriously,
Yeah, I got my
being
niece
injured when
fucked
I'm
up
trying to
right
hit a
now.
new PR legit sucks. Luckily, there's people out there who can make your life easier. Just know that if
Nobody's
you ever
out there
find
trying to
yourself
make my
getting
life
injured,
easier, I
you can turn
promise
to
you.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Morgan & Morgan specializes
Yeah, well, I
in a
injured
wide
myself,
range
so
of
what can they
personal
do for
injury
me?
cases and have won thousands of
Guys,
big
I think
cases.
that being
Just
fat
recently,
is an
Morgan & Morgan
option
has
for
sued
you
verdicts
if you
of
really
12
want
million in
to.
Florida
Eat the
and
cake I'm
26
not
million in
eating.
Philly.
Please,
That's up to 40
please,
times
do
the
it.
highest
If it
insurance
makes you
offer.
happy.
I'm telling
You don't want to go
your
for a
case
fucking
can be
walk
worth
outside
millions.
because it's
The best
cold or
part,
whatever
the
reason you
golf
can come up
point
with it in your
unless you
head,
win
then
your
don't
case.
do
If
it.
you've also been a victim
But
of a
also, like,
personal
accept
injury
the
or any
trade-off
other
of that.
serious accidents, you can visit www.forthepeople.com/jubilee, found in the description below to start your free claim today. Thanks to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this portion of this episode. Now, let's get back to the video.
I have taken a weight loss drug. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Of course, she's taking the weight loss drug. She said, "Fuck it, I need to get skinny now."
What do we define as drugs?
I think we're talking about
Ozempic, baby.
Like
weight-
Ozempic.
Pills
Yeah,
or
wait. Well, any
GLP-1
any
inhibitors,
drug
baby.
taken.
Yeah, wait, I'll-
Sorry. But yeah, come on in.
What's
Let's
a
hear
weight
your
loss
story.
drug?
I have used weight loss drugs before I knew the power of them in college and that you could get them over the counter, but they were incredibly strong.
Keep in mind, this
Probably
is
need to be
the
controlled at, but
fat-phobic girl.
I was so obsessed with my body size. I've pretty much my whole life, and that's just the culture, American culture that I was raised in and lived in, and so I would try drastic means, and I've done.
As an old Southern lady once told me, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. True.
Things that would just get you super wired. Even as
That
an
she told me
adult,
that, not that
once I
that the
figured
statement's
out
true. I don't think
how
the
to
statement's true.
eat,
They've just obviously never had good food.
gained the weight back during the lockdown, like a lot of people did. And I go, gosh darn, I was so upset. And I took a prescription weight loss drug that was prescribed by a doctor, and I was able to drop the weight quickly. I used it as a biohack. I used it short term just to get the weight off, because once the weight is off, now it's on you. You have to know how to eat.
So this is more recently.
Yep, and this is absolutely recent.
Was
too.
it like Ozempic, something?
Yeah, you can't be on these medicines and not learn how to eat properly and healthily. But really, it's very simple. If you're eating more than your calories per day, you're going to get fat. If you're eating less than the calories you're burning per day, you're going to lose weight over time, right? This isn't like a day-to-day thing. This is like, it's not about what you do every once in a while. It's about what you do every day. Law.
Like that.
Phentermine. You can get it prescribed. It's a controlled substance. It's hardcore, but it takes the thought process out of your mind. That thing, that monster that always tells you you're going to get your next serotonin kick by that food, and you're hyper focused on eating, and it takes that monster, it stops talking. So now when the monster stops talking, you go, I can control this.
This lady has a lot of mental health issues around weight, and it's really sad because it's like you can tell by the way she's talking about it.
With this drug, and
like somebody at some point in time that she trusted and that she cared about may have, and I'm not saying this for sure because I don't know, I'm speculating, may have done some serious like mental fuckery about her value based on her weight. And I think that she has some kind of like disgust response to people who are overweight, which is probably like being triggered when she sees these people who are overweight. But like, let people live their lives. Let people like have the lifestyle they want, and let them accept the trade-offs of that.
So desperate to lose weight. I was like on TikTok scrolling through, and like they were sharing like, oh, this drug does this and this is that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just blindly buy this thing, and showed up at a horrible time.
Do you know what kind of drug it was?
It was a pill that I took, and it really
suppressed
my
drug
want
was
to eat food. But it also
it was an
had
appetite
some
suppressant.
really bad side effects. Like when I would eat, I would feel sick after.
Well, I mean, anything that's going to work is going to have side effects. If it doesn't have side effects, it probably doesn't work.
And I realized like, oh, I'm feeling horrible all the time and having this energy low and like just feeling physically sick.
How long were you on it?
I was on it for 2 months maybe.
Did you lose weight?
I lost some weight, but as soon as
When
I
you're
got
throwing
off
up
of
because every
it,
time
I
you
gained
eat,
all
then
that
yeah,
weight.
I guess you would lose weight.
You have to know what to do once you're there.
Exactly.
What are you
Exactly.
gonna do?
Exactly.
Nutritional
It was
education.
Like, it was like the crutch, and like you just relied on.
You
it
can
so
find all
much,
that
and
on
then
YouTube,
once
by
it
the way,
was
guys.
Gone. You had to do your own thing.
Look up some of those things. If you're ever like, if you're overweight right now and you really want to learn how to eat properly and how to diet, Dr. Mike Israetel with RP, Renaissance Periodization. I'm not affiliated with any of these people. It'd be cool if I was. Jeff Nippard, he's also a like bodybuilder, and he's very good about sports science and nutrition. There's a bunch of different channels out there, but those are the two that stand out to me. William Tennyson, he's also pretty good. He does more fun videos and challenges and stuff like that, more of like vlog style stuff. But I would say start with RP, Renaissance Periodization with Mike Israetel. That's the place to go. It is.
You have to figure it out, and the pill
Teach you
was
everything you
doing
need to know.
all that for you, and then for me,
free.
I gained more weight than I lost when I was on it.
Let's bring in our disagreements.
It's the rubber band effect. You pull so hard one
So
direction,
I've
you snap
heavily
back the opposite
considered
direction even
taking
harder.
Ozempic, but I've decided not to because you either have to stay on that drug long term to keep those effects, or if you get off of it, most people are going to gain the weight back.
It's about, this whole conversation is about nutritional awareness and nutritional education. As I said, if you want to learn this, it's free on YouTube. Go find it. Go find it. Figure out what macros are. Figure out what calories are. Figure out what BMR is. Figure out what your daily energy expenditure is. Figure all that out, and once you have those definitions, you'll be able to do it.
So I'm no longer interested in anything that is not a complete lifestyle change. Like for me, I have learned over
think that's a
years
good-
that I would prefer to be fat and happy than
thing.
thin and miserable. So like right
I
now,
think that's
I'm
good
just
too.
trying to,
I
eat
love
less
that.
processed food, stay away from like sodas and stuff for the most part. But I will never count calories, like, or because to me that leads to disordered eating habits.
For you?
For me personally, yes. For- I'm not-
Vicious
I'm not
befriend, you are such a troll,
I'm
dude.
not
He
talking
says
for everybody,
streamer
but for me
fell off.
personally, and I do think for
Bro, why
a
are you
lot
even
of
streaming?
people, it
I don't
can
know, I
lead
enjoy
to
it, it's fun.
disordered eating.
Kind of circling back to the topic about taking weight loss drugs. Hell no, I would never take no weight loss
Easy
drug.
for
Like,
you to say, Donna. Look at you. You're thin. You're thin right now. Why would you even take it in the first place? If you look like her, you might consider it, considering how much of importance it is to be thin to you.
Like, I worked really hard for my body, like, and I'm like a very big believer in that phrase, like, if you wanted to, you could. Wouldn't you be
Yeah,
so
I agree
much
with that, though.
happier if you lost the weight and you look back on it and it was like, yeah, like, I did that.
Exactly.
You know, like that was 100% all me. I didn't
It is
need no
definitely
help.
a confidence
I didn't need no cheat
booster.
codes. Like, this was the work that I put in, and I got the results that I wanted.
And that was the
Mm-hmm.
mindset that I wish that I had before I took the drugs.
Yeah.
Because like I was super naive. I was like 18 years old
Right.
and I had no knowledge about anything. And I was looking for a quick fix because all these people were telling me, oh, you need to lose weight, you need to do this. And that was in my own household. So it was my family telling
Right.
me this, along with my friends and everything like
Easy
that.
to say that. It's
lifestyle
harder
change,
to
ultimately. These are-
educate. See, the problem I see here is that her family is telling her to get skinny, but they're not willing to teach her how to do it because they probably don't. So they're just shaming her for no reason without giving her any of the tools that she needed. It's their fault that she's overweight if they didn't teach her as a kid growing up how to be healthy, how to live a healthy lifestyle, and teach her about these things. And honestly, they probably just let her eat whatever she wanted, buy her whatever she wanted, probably ate cereal and candy and cookies and all this other nonsense nonstop. And then nobody ever told her why she was getting fat or that it was bad to get fat until she was already fat. And they never taught her how to eat healthy. Like, so it's not just her fault. It's easy to say, go lose weight.
These are tools that you can utilize, but if you are not changing your lifestyle to go with it, then what will happen forth?
Right.
And so I think that's really ultimately what it is. If you're not ready to
100%.
commit to the lifestyle change, using these tools is not going to help you.
When people
not.
do these quote unquote shortcuts, a lot of the time, like mentally, they're not there. So they lose the weight and then they're still like,
Not fixing the problem.
exactly. It was like, it was a
Also,
quick
the
fix.
great way to develop body dysmorphia is to try to lose weight and then losing it really quick. And then some days you like yourself, some days you don't. Some days you see what it really is, and some days you don't. So that's like body dysmorphia in a nutshell
Now
right
that
there.
it's, they get off it, like everything mentally, like that they were at when they were at a bigger weight is still
Let me know
there
if you have
because
body
they put in that
dysmorphia
mental
ever.
work,
I've kind of
like,
experienced
doing
it
on their own.
myself. So,
For
Yeah,
example,
we gotta reset. So for the next one. I'm getting the signal.
all right, let's see it.
Fit women are more attractive than fat women.
Uh,
Will the agreeers please step forward?
I think this is going to be like surveyed from the average.
I would definitely agree. Fit women are more attractive than like plus size women, only because me having this body, it shows that I can commit to something, right? And it shows that I'm
Oh, look, guys aren't
hardworking,
looking for
so I feel
commitment,
like
babe.
Men looking
Not
at
all of
my
them.
body can see,
Most of them
oh,
are not.
okay, she's dedicated. She put in the work, and that could be an attractive quality that men see in me. I would
That's fair.
definitely go for like a more muscular guy. So that kind of shows that we have something in common, something that we can work on together.
So gym dates.
Yeah, gym dates for sure.
All right, thank you. Can we bring in the disagreeers?
I feel like I'm gonna get flamed alive right now. It's all good.
Here we
I'm
go.
bisexual, so I
Hey,
love
girl, me
women.
too.
I love women.
Yes, all the
Bet you
I
are.
think that all women are beautiful. I've had relationship with women that are fit, that are not fit, variety. And I can tell you that personality-wise, the skinniest ones and the most beautiful ones have had a personality that I cannot work with. Me.
I'm sorry, but I don't think the question was, are fit women having, or do they have shittier personalities? I think it's just like, subjectively, like, are they more attractive than fat women? The question isn't, do they have better personalities than fat women? Which is missing the plot here a little bit.
Personally, me. So,
Yeah.
and it
And it's
comes from a
anecdotal.
place that the way that I grew
Like
up,
my
the way that they
every
grew up,
opinion I've given you
thoughts,
so far.
minds, you surround yourself with people that you like, that is like you. Your personality has more beauty than the way that you look.
Your physical looks will disappear. My grandma, she used to be a very petite, tiny woman, grew up in the Philippines. My grandpa the same way. Now they're a little bigger. They're more
I'm starting to
comfortable,
understand
50
why
years
they
later,
didn't
still
say
in
that's
love.
true.
My grandpa always makes
It's
jokes about,
because
remember growing up, he was like,
they're
"This is
thinking
Burger
too
King and this is
far and deep
McDonald's.
into the
I'm
question.
king and I'm loving it." And I'm like, that's my grandpa. He
They're
showed me, like, you can
overanalyzing.
appreciate a woman through all the changes, like,
Exactly.
and that's why I love, like, I could be, once I get skinny, like, my boyfriend can still love me, but maybe he loves me more because how I am personally.
I think people like to be like, oh, it's always going to be the fit woman is more attractive than the plus size woman. I just don't think that's true. Like, there's a lot of beautiful fit women. There's also a lot of not very beautiful ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? To
True.
assume that
There's some
size will
pretty
always
ugly
equal more
fit women
attractive,
out
I
there,
just
I'll tell you
think
that
is, like,
much.
silly.
And
It's a case by case basis.
you may not
on the
believe
healthy
this,
side.
but I'm
Well,
not
you
one
can
of
be
them.
thin and not healthy.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
clear.
I'm just an ugly
But
guy.
The biggest issue I have with what
And
you
I'm
said,
kinda
I
fit a
disagree
little
with you.
bit, I guess.
think as a fit girl as well, fit girlies, but I still disagree with you because there's beautiful women who are in bigger
Don't look
bodies.
at
Like, I feel like it's an arrogance almost to be like, oh, because I'm fit, I'm more attractive. Like that's,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And the biggest issue I have was what you said about
We gotta work
men
with
being
averages, you
attracted to
guys.
more just because
The average
you're
fit woman is
I think
probably
that
more
that's
attractive to
insane.
the average person who's attracted to that sex than a fatter body. It's just the way it is.
Your worth on a
Feel free to
man,
disagree with
and
me.
I'm married. As a married woman saying that, I just don't understand what that has to do with the principle of just physical attractiveness. That has nothing to do with if someone else deems you as attractive. It's like just solely based on the physical. So I 100% disagree with you.
I was debating actually stepping forward because of just what
Josh
society
put down
has taught me
Crusader. I
my
like
whole
fat
life.
bees.
That is more beautiful. That is more beautiful. That is more beautiful. And I've really had to
You
work
should.
on unlearning that
You
like,
do you,
for
boo.
so many years. When I was like, 19, 20, I was like, oh, the reason I'm not in a relationship is because I'm fat. Like I need to lose weight and then I'll
Maybe.
become in a relationship. Then someone will love me. And I thought that for so many years. And like my self-confidence was like down here. And I really had to work on unlearning that. And I'm still trying to unlearn that. But like I have learned over the years.
Why does no one
that
watch me? Well,
people
I
are
have
attracted to
like
different things.
45
So if you
years
ask
right
one
now,
person,
so I guess
they're
that's
gonna
not
tell you, oh, this
nobody.
is what I'm
It's
attracted
not like
to,
a
and if you
million
ask someone
people
else,
or
they might have a
anything, but it's not
completely
bad.
different answer. So I think attractiveness is subjective. I think when it comes to society 100%
I think it is
says
subjective.
Skinnier is better.
I mean, I hear a lot.
I think it is subjective, and subjectively, the average is that skinnier people are more attractive than fatter people for the average person. So, like, the outliers, probably not true. And can somebody be more attractive in a bigger body than somebody next to them in a thinner body? Then absolutely, that's true too. But it's not the average, and it's not the norm. And it's sad to say, but like for example, Josh down here in the chat, Josh disagrees. Josh likes likes fat bitchs. That's what he said, and I don't know if it's true or not. If he's just being an ass, but it's just very possible on my channel, and most of the people are being asses. But like no, like some people have preferences, and it's not the normal though.
What you're saying, but I'm curious. Anybody want to share like what is the type of body that you're attracted to?
Here we go.
On men, other, or
Well,
the
I don't know.
opposite.
There's people who are attracted to men. and women. So whether it's men or women, what kind of bodies are you attracted to?
Because I've been smaller and bigger. I am tall. I already am eliminating a majority of people because I'm one taller man than me. But you know what? Somebody on your show, Zach Miko,
Was that the tall guy?
it was the model.
Oh yeah.
The plus size model? He was
Yes.
cute.
So
Unfortunately married.
What do you guys
So
think,
it's
chat?
like-
Is that
I
overweight
have
guy
dated some
more attractive
fantastically gorgeous
at
men,
that weight,
but
or
when I feel
maybe
most
when he's thinner?
comfortable
I don't
in
know.
Myself, and can feel just kind of let it all out. Is a guy that's has some cushion. Gym people for gym people. And, and that
Looks
kinda
like
seems kind of
similar
weird,
lifestyles
not
for
my
similar
vibe.
No, I
lifestyles.
appreciate the specificity.
You think thinner is better, Josh?
So I do have a type, but also like I've never dated before. So I'd say like my type goes from I like my type goes from like Prince Eric to
Prince Eric?
Fluffy. Like the guy yes, the comedian
Then-
Fluffy. I just
Despicable
feel like
says
I
thin.
could like hug him. Like he would give the best hugs and be like the best person.
It's a very
Like,
wide range.
Yeah, very wide range
A lot of them fit into
a
that
lot of
range.
infinites to that. But like I don't discriminate against like body type or anything like that.
It's
More to grab
funny
is
'cause
better?
For me as a bisexual woman, like what I like in women.
Do you like
versus
thin or
what I
more
like in
more
men
to
is, like,
grab?
very
I'm
different.
confused.
So men, I'm very much like you. Like dad bods are kind of like what I'm the most attracted to. I don't want someone like super big, but I also don't like super skinny or like super buff.
So what
Like,
is
a little
what
more
is it
satisfying,
then?
like, the really-
Dad bod? What do you think dad bod? What is a dad bod? Tell me like what weight is a dad bod? Because she said dad bod too, and what I think is that dad bods aren't necessarily fat. They're just not really thin or really muscular, or they're just like average. Where's that one girl? Like this. The male equivalent of this, where like she's not really fat, but she's not thin. She's not fit. And that was a problem with my whole premise on the whole beginning of this. Love the stream, keep it up. Thank you, Controlled. Appreciate you, man. The girl here, she's not fit, but they put her in the fit category because she's not fat, which is not the same thing.
Against like body type or anything like that.
It's funny because for me as a bisexual woman, like what I like in women versus what I like in men is like very different. So men, I'm very much like you. Like dad bods are kind of like what I'm the most attracted to. I don't want someone like super big, but I also don't like super skinny.
Better
Or, like,
mom
super,
bod?
super buff.
Yeah, mom
A little
bod. That's
more
what she got.
satisfying, but, like the really buff guys, like not my thing. But for women, I like way more different kinds of women, like thin, big, like I don't know. I'm just way more attracted, I think, when it comes to different kinds of women. Like when I'm swiping on dating apps, like I'll maybe swipe on like 1 in every 20 men, and like women, it's like 1 in 5.
So I think that's just because like if girls are gonna go for a guy on a dating app because they have so much availability to all of these guys, and there's just so many people in their DMs that they can be more selective, whereas like women are gonna be less picky with other women because of a lot of reasons, and we could go into it, but we're not going to right now.
Just think overall are much more beautiful than men. Like even
And we have better profiles. Let's get
yes, that too.
All right, let's reset. It's okay for models to set a high standard for body image. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Women setting models to set
I
a higher
did some
standard
modeling
for
as
body
a kid
image.
and
Yeah.
as a teenager, and even now as an adult, I did pinup. There's definitely like a high expectation and standard.
So
especially,
like
in runway
taking
modeling
photos
and things like that.
and
'cause
dressing up, like going to do a photo shoot. If you do that, that does not mean you are a model. That does not mean you are a model just because you got in front of a professional camera and you did a photo shoot. A model is somebody who gets paid in order to help promote an item or in order to help promote a brand. And there's other exceptions to that rule, but that's 98% of them. So, like, just because she says she's a model, she wasn't a model. She
they
did photo shoots.
push out these clothing and they only do it in certain sizes. There's standards that different companies have that they want to push out certain things. So like for
Yes, that's
pinups, they
true.
want you to look a certain way. They want you to do your makeup a certain way. They want you to dress a certain way for that style. And same thing for like Victoria's Secret. They want to promote lingerie, and there's a standard for each company, and they have to live up to that standard based on what they're trying to promote.
And personally, for me, I always looked up to thin people. I
It's
always
the
found them
style.
very beautiful. I was like, I want to be able to look like a Victoria's Secret model one day. It's okay to have a higher standard of beauty because it makes you want like, oh.
Well, I think the other thing is that it's much harder to be a thin, pretty, skinny person than it is to be a fat, ugly, obese person. It's just easier to be the second option. And that's why there's so many more people that are doing that. It's actually like, one, you have to do things, and the other, you just literally do nothing. And you just go and eat as much as you can. Like, I can get fat way easier than I can get thin. Cutting is a lot harder for me than bulking. And I'm not even, and that's eating clean food when I'm bulking. I could eat dirty food and just get obese. I could probably gain, 20 pounds in the matter of like a month. Easy. No problem.
I want to work harder on myself to achieve that type of body goal. I might not look exactly like them, like with the hips and everything. but I
Ungag
wanna be able to look a
XOX.
healthy
Thank you for the
version of myself
follow.
that
Appreciate you.
looks something like that.
I think it's okay for models to have
Bash
higher
Tangle,
standard
thank you for the
beauty
follow.
because we are
Wheelchair, thank you
attracted
for the
to
follow.
attractive things. A model
Appreciate
is
you guys.
selling something. They're being hired to sell something, and they're going to make it. Hey, look at this. Look at the dress I'm wearing. And
Well,
you
believe
as
it
a
or not, the
consumer,
market
you don't
research
wanna look
shows
at somebody that is
that
going to go. Ugh.
thinner models are able to sell things and be more attractive in front of people, and they catch your attention, right? If you're walking down the street and somebody who's like thin and pretty, they'll catch your eye more than somebody who's obese, mainly just because it's they're different. They stand out because they're different, you know? And I think that's just kind of the way it is.
I don't even want to look at that person. What were they selling? I don't know.
Let's bring in our disagreeers. More disagreeers than I expected.
I completely disagree. I think we all forgot what modeling industry has done for women in our society. I think we kind of went blank for a second. I'm a journalism major. I have my degree in journalism, and growing
Yeah,
up,
but where do you practice journalism at? Like, I want to know what industry. I mean, like, I'm not trying to come from a position of authority and to devalue her opinion and all, but like, I hate when people say I went to school for this thing. It's like, what kind of field experience do you have? What kind of experience do you have doing that?
up with certain magazines, and those women, just because they were thin does not mean they were healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all ever seen America's Next Top Model?
See, the problem is that they say that just because someone's thin doesn't mean that they're healthy. Yeah, I guess that's true. But like, if someone is thin, they can be a little bit more healthy. But I've never seen anybody who's obese who's healthy, because the medical term obese means that you're not healthy, like you're out of the health range of being a healthy person. So it's like maybe a small percentage of the people who are skinny are more unhealthy than somebody who's obese, but like not by much, dude. Not by much.
There's a lot of detrimental things that were happening within that society, within that community. And I agree with you. Yes, we all want to look at something aesthetically pleasing, but that varies. Also, the modeling industry is known for not being diverse.
Right.
Hello. So I don't know.
Not lately.
Out for a
Very
second.
diverse
You ever been to
now.
Target?
It was not when
Even
I
the
was
mannequins are
Yeah,
diverse.
but it's not that diverse now either. It's evolving.
It's
but I
pretty
wouldn't go as
it's
far as
pretty
saying it's
diverse
not
compared to what it
diverse,
used to
but
be.
I think that it can be very detrimental as a young woman. I think the body positivity movement kind of was
Yeah, but it's the same thing as a guy too. It's like you see all these superheroes and you're like, "Oh, well, I'll never be like that." So it's the same thing. It's like we all deal with that same
created
struggle.
in
No, it sucks, but
juxtaposition
it's just the way the
because
world
of
is.
The modeling industry of the 90s and early 2000s, how toxic that was.
I do think we have come a long way, but we still have like much further to go. The
Always gonna be
average
true.
size of the woman in the United States is a size 16. So why are we not seeing that reflected
Pretty
more
big.
on runways and modeling and stuff? You know, I also have issues
Because
with
designers design clothing to fit in a certain way, and they cut it a certain way, and their vision is a certain way, so they want the model to look a certain way because they'll fit in the outfit well.
comes to a lot of plus size modeling too, because a lot of plus size models, they have the curves, but they have no belly. And that's so unrealistic for most plus size women, where it's like, most plus size women, if you are a size 20 like I am, you're gonna have a stomach. And
most of those photos have been photoshopped.
yeah, or they even put
Well, they have
padding on
BBLs,
smaller
or they have
models
BBLs
to make them look bigger.
The standards keep changing.
I've never had that experience.
How many models do they need to show all?
I feel like they're
the
just making
different
shit up in their
body
head and
types,
saying it.
for this to sell one dress.
Sounds like there's a tension between the market. If the data says more
Right.
people clicked on this body, even if it's unrealistic,
Yes.
put that body in the ad.
Yes.
But what you're
Exactly.
saying
That's
is
market
that
research.
That's unfair representation of the true customer.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I'll like buy something that I saw on a plus size model who has a flat stomach, and then I put it on, and I'm like, oh, I hate this because it's clinging to like all the wrong parts. I just want to see something that.
That's sad. I don't
looks-
like that.
It doesn't have to look exactly like me.
I think for a long time people thought that diversity in sizes wasn't marketable. Like I can't make money from showing all this diversity of sizes, but I think that there are new brands coming like Savage X Fenty with Rihanna. She has proven that you can have diverse bodies and you can still market and sell. And let's be real, most consumers are not the models. They look different.
Women should be fit enough to protect themselves. Will the agreeers step forward?
This is something that I always say. Listen, no shame to people that are thinner, but I just think you're so
Protect
vulnerable
themselves
when
against
you're
who?
thin. Like if you're petite and you're frail and you're not strong enough to fight back, I don't think that's safe for you.
I hate
I'm
when
a
fat people
proponent of,
complain
like,
about being
building
fat.
muscle.
Yeah,
that way you're
well,
sturdy. That way if someone tries to come up
it's
on
not
me,
gonna change, dog.
they're going to feel something.
I think we shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I just don't think that if somebody weighs more because they're fatter, that they're going to be able to defend themselves better against an assailant. I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
Like,
I really
it sucks
do
that
want
we're in a
to get your
society
opinion on it.
that we do, but we have to.
Yes.
You're
Probably
you're
run away
prone to
faster.
danger at any moment. Know some punches. Know some locks. I don't know. But yeah, definitely stay prepared.
Yeah, as someone who trains kickboxing, boxing, and Muay Thai, at our facility, like we do offer like women's self-defense classes, and like no matter
They're gonna be
like, what
useless unless
body
they're
size you
constantly
are,
trained.
I
It's like
highly
owning a gun.
recommend every single woman to take at least one class.
You have
just
to go
learn the
shoot
basics
frequently
and
to be good
just,
with it.
like for your own protection.
Well, I got attacked by a dog once when I was on a walk. I came out of this house and it came after me, and I was with a group of friends. Of course, it comes after the big one. Don't get me wrong, but it was scary. I couldn't run away from that problem, but my friends were able to, and that came to my
You
mind.
only have to be faster than the slowest person. Remember that, guys. She learned that real quick.
Oh my gosh. I'm not good at cardio. I know what I need to improve more on. You need to be able to carry yourself, pull yourself up, or like, you know, run.
Even for you, for your kids, you know,
It's insane,
in
you
emergency,
guys.
your kid is swallowing something and it got stuck, or you know, everything around you needs your full potential energy. So yeah, definitely everybody work on their own pace and just make sure that you work on things that are going to help you and stay safe because it's dangerous.
Not to be an easy target.
Aside from dog,
Dog was hungry.
has
Josh,
anyone
shut up,
ever
dude.
been in a situation where they've had
Don't say
to defend themselves.
I can talk about it because it doesn't hurt anymore, but when I was young, I did get molested. And
Oh, that's sad. I'm
it's
sorry to
fine,
hear that
it's
shit.
fine. I'm over
That's
it.
not
I know
good.
it wasn't my fault. See, I work with my brain a lot, so for me, I was laying down, and it was more of a like situation where I couldn't move because of what everything was that was happening around me, and my thoughts were just like, I need to find a way to survive. I need to find a way to push this person from me, and I was 13, so it was like, you know what? Pray, 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 pray. Because there was a cousin sleeping next
Well, that's
to
not
me.
gonna
and I was
help
like,
you, but
"Please
yeah."
have her move. Please have her move so I can move. And she did. And as soon as she moved, I found a way to just push him. Like I found a courage to push him off.
Oh, yeah.
It came from I don't know where,
Nice.
but it came. And whatever happened after that. So it is a situation where as women, we are subject to not just men, but to a lot of people, and where we need to find a way to protect ourselves, and not just us, as we're growing older. Like we should be showing our children how to and who not to trust instead of judging
Exactly.
them, instead of expecting from them. You should be teaching them to find their way and what works for them, to find a courage to save themselves from whatever is going to be a struggle for them in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
I have abused my body. Will the agreeer step forward?
Nobody want to molest that. Josh, shut up, dude.
Personally,
That's
for
not
me,
cool.
I've always suffered with anxiety and depression since I was young. I haven't grown up in the best areas. I used to self-harm in different ways. I suffered with like purging and everything, and like actual.
Talking
like,
about Josh?
physically harming
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I
I
agree.
even tempted to like burn myself. When I look in the mirror, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? And I was 13, 12, and around this time, I did not like the way I look. I'm not happy right now. And like the only thing I have control of, because I don't have money, I can control what I can do to myself. And it wasn't until like I got older and I started studying mental health, I started studying like different like ways you can take care of yourself with the resources I had. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not the best at my mind right now. And there's other opportunities I can control those bad thoughts. To let them out.
What were some of the tools that were most helpful to you?
Meditation really was a big thing for me. I loved meditating. Whenever I
Do you
had
guys
those,
meditate?
I
I've
call
never
it,
heard of that, like,
noise,
helping
those
anything. What are you,
thoughts
just
in my
thinking
head, like,
through
just
things?
Talking. And I'm like, close your eyes, inhale, exhale, and just breathe. Just find your center and calm yourself.
What does that
really
mean?
helps me a lot.
Finding your center.
Addiction is the
I guess grounding.
disease
It's
that
like grounding.
tells your brain that the problem is the solution. My biggest addiction was food, and I
Preach on that. I fucking
and you get a
love
serotonin
food,
kick.
dog.
Everybody has a vice because that's something cheap and fast. At some point, it's not you're not a victim anymore. Like you're actually doing it to yourself. this lifestyle of this and up and down, and how I even abused myself, how I used to talk to myself, and you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you know, you're never enough.
Well,
until I changed the way I spoke to myself, did changes ever happen and maintain?
Abuse my body a lot by being an emotional eater. Like I'm a very emotional person. Actually, I just
I'll eat
found
just 'cause
out,
I want to.
last year that I have BPD. Ever since I was a teenager,
Cutter,
I
you're
have
so
struggled heavily
mean.
with
I love
depression
it.
and
Keep it up the
suicidal
good work,
thoughts,
baby.
like all the time. Yeah, I have abused my body over the years, and I'm trying to love myself more, take better care
Do
of
it.
myself.
Don't try. Just do it.
Well, you
Until-
say that, but it can be hard.
Make it easy. Make it easy. Make it easy to speak to yourself in a kind way.
Yeah.
I just got upset because you don't want to be on this. You're a gift.
Thank you.
How dare you
Here we go.
take that beautiful gift away? How dare you? You're not allowed to do that anymore, okay? You're here. You have to speak to yourself kindly.
That
Be nice to yourself.
fuck what you say to yourself.
Your family
You're
members,
not
how
allowed.
would they tell somebody else that's speaking to you that way to you? And you do it to yourself, that's not okay.
Yeah.
You can change it.
The
Make a
shit that I
make a
say to
choice.
myself in my
Yeah,
head
it's
every
gotten-
day
it's gotten a
would
lot
make
better
this
over the
girl
years, but
fucking
I'm
cry
much
then. But
kinder
she
to
wouldn't care if
myself,
it was
and I
me
wish I could,
sitting
like,
there.
tell
She'd be
my
like, whatever.
Younger self to like be kinder.
But you can
to
tell her,
yourself.
tell her right now.
Oh,
You can
I do,
tell that
yeah.
baby right now, she's good enough and she's meant to be here.
Thank you.
Here we go.
I'm like,
Oh
I
my
just
God.
want to give you a hug because I relate to your story so much.
Am I just insensitive dickhead, or
I-
like, is
I'm-
this like, do y'all?
I was an emotional eater too. I still am an emotional eater. I'm working on it so much, but like when I was getting bullied in
Who's
middle
not an
school,
emotional
like, I was
eater?
getting called
I
fat and
love
all
to
these
eat when
things,
I'm
and
sad.
I was literally getting notes handed to me saying that I was like a fat whale. It really messed me up, and it made me attempt suicide a few times.
Oh, that's
and
sad.
I was a child.
Getting dark, you
12
guys.
years old, and it wasn't until after I attempted and my family found out, because now I don't think that way anymore. That's why I'm such a huge like advocate for mental health and just like love yourself. You have to love yourself in order to change things that you want to change.
I don't think that's true. I pretty much run off of self-hatred in order to make all my changes.
For the people who came in, the disagreeers with this prompt, what have been the most valuable tools or resources in your life to not abuse your body?
I think of like the highest version of myself, and I try to show up as her every single day. When I have dark thoughts or when things are hard, I'm like, okay, the highest version of Alyssa, like she's a baddie, she's disciplined, you know, she loves
convince
herself,
yourself
and
that.
I kind of show up as her.
100%
Self-hatred
agree with
is the
that.
way.
I'm a very big believer in like if you
Maybe,
say
Josh,
things
maybe.
out loud and manifest them, then they will come true, because eventually you do end up getting like that mentality switch, right? Like if you wake up and the first thing that you say to yourself like in the mirror is like, I'm ugly, you know? That's what you're gonna go about your entire day believing, you know? But maybe like writing something down, like having it like on the mirror and stuff, and starting every morning like smiling and with like positivity, then you'll carry that energy like through the entire day, the entire week, the entire month, and eventually like your entire life.
If you have a network of people that if you're feeling any kind of emotion or going through anything, having that kind of community to help you figure out how you can go about this without doing some detrimental harm to yourself, I think it's really amazing. And again, a privilege
This is
that
so
I was
crazy.
able to have that. And if
Guys.
nothing else, I hope anyone watching this can really see and empathize, and like, you can't just look at someone and be like, oh,
believe
they're
how
this
long
and
this
that, or
video
they're
is.
lazy, or they don't work hard enough. Like, I think this conversation
Y'all made
has
it
been
this far
so
through this.
illuminating
You
for
guys
me,
are just,
and I
you
hope
have
it's
nothing better to do. But I love
me,
you.
also,
I love you guys
just
for being
adding
here.
To like what helped me get out of the depression that I had was, I sat down and I cried. I would cry in my room and acknowledge the things.
Yeah,
I
because
needed
it
to change,
sucks.
even
We've
though it
all
was gonna cost
been
me.
and had
I
to deal with
supporters, like
things
my
that made us
family,
cry
my
in our
sisters, my
room
biggest
growing up.
supporter. I love you with all my heart. And you really need to work on yourself. Make a better choice. Change your body if it's necessary, if you can.
But where's
be
the-
healthy, because
where's the
we're
action
not getting
here,
any better.
guys?
This world is just gonna get harder. So we need
Thanks,
to be
man. I
healthy and
appreciate
prepared
you.
for whatever we need to do. You know, so yeah, work out safely, and you know, everybody, we hope you're healthy for like the longest time, because man.
I definitely agree with like letting out a
This is
good
like
cry,
a
'cause I was an
self-therapy
emotional
session at
eater.
this point.
I
We're
was
almost at
such
the
an
end of the
emotional
video,
eater.
and it's just
I
them
held
like,
all of my emotions in.
oh, I
and
see. It's
what I
like
would
the
do is I
personal
would
story
eat
section. I see what's
instead
going
of
on here.
letting that emotion out and recognizing
Well.
the emotion. And it wasn't until like I let out that cry, I reached out to the people.
Yeah, you
and I
reach out for
start.
help.
You reach out to the people that you trust and you feel the
Yeah.
safest with. And I did.
There's a lot of the
that, so
times
I
where
started
like
to
people
realize,
don't
like,
reach out for
oh,
help and whatnot, and
I
then
need
they
to
just kind of
change
end
this.
up
It isn't
in the
healthy
self-pity
to go
spiral,
to
and
the
they
food
isolate
instead of
themselves,
going
and then
to
it
the
becomes
people.
like they're
You
just
gotta go to
they don't
your
live life
people.
anymore.
I agree
Do I
with
get
that.
it?
The day after my mom passed, I just came back. Literally, I took a plane back to California.
So, real the question is being fat a choice? I think we got to the bottom of it. It's the answer is yes. It is a choice, and you can change things. If you are feeling like you can't reach a certain point in your life, then perhaps it's a no. But you can become the best version of yourself is basically what they're getting at. So, I think I kind of agree with that as well. So.